I first joined Citibank, the first observation I had was that financial services and high reg in general is much like a turtle. You have a thick shell, you know that when things get rough, you kind of just duck in, and you move really, really, really slow, because that is what financial services does. It's the history, it's the culture, it's how everyone is assimilated to work. Now, moving at a turtle's pace, kind of not exactly super productive way to work in social media. So how do we take something that was meant for, turtles and help them go fast? So let's just go through quick statistics. Facebook, a lot of people on it. Twitter, a lot of people on it. Blogs, a lot of people writing them. YouTube, a lot of people watching stuff on it. And let's take the stats a little bit further. Let's talk about people who actually interact with brands. Guess what? If you interact with a brand on social media, you like them more. Didn't say that interaction was good. Didn't say that interaction was bad. If you interact with them, they like you more. That's easy. I can talk to people. They can hate me, but I can talk to them. So we built a strategy on 5 prongs. Listen, analyze, engage, measure, and adapt. And that is how every single part of our social media program is. Now, if you look, 3 of those circles are really, really heavily based on measurement. Listen, analyze, and measure all have components of analytics to them, both qualitative and quantitative. So I'm going to kind of take you through how we started, because I think for any company, that's the most important part, is how do you get started, building a measurement program, and then having that influence how you move forward. So first, listening. Listening is like going to the grocery store. If you don't make a list and you go hungry, and trust me, you will go hungry, you will end up with 80 things in your cart that you did not want and 3 things you needed. That means you will have to go back to the cart, you will have to go shopping again, and you will have to waste time. So it's important you ask your teams what matters to you. And more importantly, after asking them what matters to you, because guess what? A lot will matter to them. You have to ask them, is this a needle in a haystack? Do people really care about this small, minute program you ran that really got no press? So you ask them to do some research themselves. This is the most important part of a listening program, is asking your teams to take some initiative. Because if they really do care, they'll do the research, and they'll save you the time. Because then you won't spend time, digging for content that's not there. Because if there is something you can actually measure, it'll show up on these. You'll just get a more robust situation in a listening tool. Okay? So we did our listening, and we found the good, the bad, the ugly. The good, our members were talking about Haiti. What happened, how they were participating. Citi had a building there that actually crumbled. So, we were really, really intimately tied to this, and it was important for us to understand how our customers felt about it. But we also found the ugly. We found this sign, which we did not know was outside our building, that someone had put up. And you couldn't see it unless you were driving past. If you were walking in and out of the building, you would never see it. So actually, my first week of work is when I found this. And I became a hero because I got it taken down. And then you find the ugly, or as I like to call him, Justin Bieber. For some reason, which I still do not know, whenever there's some big controversy with Bieber, Citi gets thrown in. We've had Justin Bieber declared as the new CEO of Citi. We have had Justin Bieber become the new president of some Harry Potter association, and then somehow there was a random association with Citi. There was a group on 4chan who wanted Justin Bieber to do a North Korean tour. I don't know if anybody remembers this story. And then they said that Citi was going to sponsor the tour. So just anytime something really weird is out there for us, it usually gets associated with Justin Bieber. So he is kind of our ugly, because we don't really know how to handle Justin Bieber references. But after we kind of listened, we realized, what, service is where it's at. And I think somebody else brought it up here. They're going to complain if you don't address those in your first attempts to external community. You can't really engage, because you have to solve problems before you earn the right to actually have relationships with people. And I think that's why service has been an introduction for many companies into the areas, because when you listen, that's generally what's out there. And this brought up something our legal brought up with all of this. When we tried to engage, they said, guess what, guys? Tweets are public and permanent. This isn't a phone call. So just like Miley Cyrus is no longer on Twitter, her tweets live on in the commemorative plate collection. Now, what we did to kind of convince our legal is Google. How many people here have actually spent part of their career trying to game the Google search engine? Okay, guess what? You can game the Twitter search engine right now, because guess what? It's horrible. The algorithm is weak, and you can instantly get your results to appear higher. And guess what? Most people don't even know that there's an actual algorithm behind it. They just think it's like randomly pulling up mentions. Guess what? There's an algorithm. And if you know it, you can game it. And you can get your company to appear at the top. So I went in and I said, hey guys, SEO perspective on this is great. And guess what? That algorithm in Twitter that's not so good feeds into Google. So their old friend Google, which they love, instantly becomes the next best thing for them. Additionally, we said, hey guys, it's a cost save, because you don't have to pay for research anymore because we can go ask people for free. And they're like, whoa, all of a sudden we have had ROI and we have done nothing. So then it gets into why web analytics is your best friend, because now you're applying basic SEO principles. You're talking about trackbacks and all kinds of other things that they know are important but don't understand. And they're all jazzed about social without much understanding. So then this is where risk and fraud comes in. And they're like, great, you're excited, we can't do it. Because guess what? Phishing. We can't do it because phishing, people are going to give out their account numbers. Some of the scenarios that came up were crazy. So we said, okay, fine. We're going to talk to Twitter, and we're going to get them to give us a coveted verified account. And we did it. It was not easy, and I'm not going to play around, but it took a lot of conversations. We also did a custom URL, because guess what? If it doesn't come from cityus.us, it doesn't come from us. That cleared us for phishing, okay? But then there's this dangerous, dangerous path that companies go down. And this is a real street sign in New York, by the way, which I like to call the FML path. If you don't have a plan and you don't talk about how you're actually going to engage, you will immediately shut yourself down with your legal, your risk, and compliance. Because they get that you're going to do this, but as soon as they see the type of content you want to send out, they go, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't get 3 hours to approve it. I didn't get to change the language. You said that you were actually going to help them. That has to be a maybe. I'm not comfortable with this. So we looked at that and we're like, great, we're going to be robots. Nobody loves robots. They don't have emotions. Okay, I do love robots, but you get what I'm saying. It's hard to love something that's not real. So what did we do? We had a makeover. We brought in our legal, we brought in our risk, we brought in our fraud. We sat them down, we explained social, we showed what the competitors were doing, we showed statistics as to why it was important, and it was really, really tough. But at the end of the day, that legal crew that was completely shocked and scared and awed by what we were saying became our best friend, to the point when they didn't feel like our tweets were conversational enough, would add commentary saying, hey, don't you think you should be more friendly in this tweet? Don't you think you should say this in this post? And we completely changed. And it's actually funny, our most difficult lawyer in the beginning actually now sends us funny cartoons about social media whenever she sees them. And it's just this complete entire change from how the organization was. So basically, through our listening program and through our analytics program, we actually took something that was viewed as impossible, and in 9 months, basically got a turtle to go fast. So what I encourage everyone to do is to go find their skateboard. You know what your companies want. You know what they're looking for. Try to find a way that social aligns with their internal goals, and it's very easy to move forward. And I think that's the step that everybody misses. Everybody's like, we need to be in social, but they don't tie it back to those quintessential goals that are broader and wider than social media can be. And once you do that, that's really how you propel forward. So, questions?